Hello, friends. So, today we are going to discuss a very important topic that is fundamental rights. Before starting the topic, I would like to request you to kindly subscribe my channel and also share this video so that more viewers can view it. And also, if you have got any kind of doubt or any confusion in during the video, then you can post it in the comment section. So, now let's start. Now, you see, we are going to discuss about the fundamental rights. And we know what are the fundamental rights. That is the right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, and there are so many rights. So today I'm not going to discuss all the fundamental rights. I'm going to discuss only the particular one, that is the right to freedom. Okay. So now, what is the right to freedom? What do you mean by freedom? Freedom means that we are free to do anything. Means we are not under any kind of constraints. That is called freedom. Now, under the Indian Constitution, we have been guaranteed six fundamental rights. But you can see that, I'm so sorry, under the Indian Constitution, we are guaranteed the six freedoms. Okay, but you can see here that there are around seven freedoms, and out of that, one has been deleted, right to property. So, why that has been deleted, I will be discussing it later on. But let's focus on this Article 19(1), freedom of speech and expression. So it says that we have the freedom of speech. We can speak anything about any topic. We can ask questions. But in every freedom, there are some kinds of constraint. There are some kind of restriction. That means these freedoms are not absolute. Okay, there has to be some restrictions. If there would not have been any kind of restriction, then the society would have been a barbaric society. So that is why the constitution makers have given you the freedom, but with some kind of restrictions so that there can be harmonious society. Now see that in freedom of speech, I have already said that we can ask anything, means like we can ask, we can question, then we can remain silent, okay, and we can give some expressions also. So all these are freedom of speech and expression. Okay. So now, if when you are giving any kind of speech or you are dictating something very important, then obviously the people will be having an assembly to listen to your speech. So that's why the constitution framers have said that you can also have the freedom of assembly. Okay, you see that if you are a good speaker, if you have public to listen to your speech, then obviously you can have a association. You can form some kind of association. But as I have already said, that whatever the freedom has been given to you, these are not absolute. They have got some kind of restrictions. Freedom to assembly, but there are some restrictions that you can do assembly in any part of India, but you cannot hold any kind of assembly in some restricted areas. Example, the army cantonments, or any kind of like in a scientific laboratory, government scientific laboratory. It's just an example to make you understand. Okay. Then freedom of association. Now, what kind of association are you forming? Association to make drugs, association to make these or that. Whatever the association permitted by the government, you can only form that kind of association. Which are illegal associations, you cannot make that. Okay. Now see, you have the right to freedom of movement. What is this freedom of movement? That means that you have the right to move here and there. But it does not mean that you will move and you will go to the border areas and you will cross the border. As I have already said, that the rights are not absolute. They have got some kind of restrictions. Okay. So I'm explaining it in a very simple manner. You see, there are many things to be discussed, but as I need to make the video a bit short, so I will not explain a bit long. I will just give you some shortcut lectures on this. Now, see, freedom to reside and settle anywhere in India, but you cannot reside and settle in the restricted areas like in the forest areas or in the like in the army cantonments, in the army bases, or uh, any places which is restricted by the government. You can purchase properties, and you by after taking the permission of the government, you can purchase properties and you can reside anywhere in India. There is no restriction for that. Okay, but there are some areas like the low belt areas, tribal areas, means the general public cannot go and purchase land in those areas. So those are some kind of restriction. As I have already said you that the freedom is never absolute under the Indian Constitution. Okay, and the last one is the freedom of profession. Okay, now why I have left this, I will discuss it a bit after some time. You see, now freedom of profession, that means you can do any kind of profession. You can be an advocate, okay, you can be a teacher, mm, but you can do any kind of profession. But the profession, you can have a shop, you can do any kind of business, but it should be accordance with the law. Okay, you cannot do any kind of unlawful profession like mafia or like gambling or like which is not permitted by the government or the state. You cannot do that. Okay, you see the constitution framers have made a very wonderful constitution in a chronological manner. You see, first you can have the speechy people like your speech. They can form assembly, and if they form assembly, they can form association, and also you can move. Freedom of movement there is there, and if you can move, then if you like the place, then you can also purchase some plot of land. So that is why they have said the right to reside and settle. Okay, but you can purchase the plots of land only in those areas where the government has given you the permission. Okay, and then the last one is that freedom of profession. Okay, as I've already explained. Now see what happened to the right to property. You see, earlier the right to property was a fundamental rights, but there were lots of hindrances in that. Suppose a government wants to make a railway track, and you see there is a private property here. Now this railway track cannot be built in the private property because it was a fundamental right. So earlier there used to be lots of clash between the central government and the judiciary at that time, because the judiciary is the guardian of the constitution, and in the constitution the property rights was a fundamental right at the time. So in the 44th amendment, maybe I forgot about it, maybe it's Morarji Desai, after the act was passed, the 44th amendment act. So what happened at that time, this right to property has been removed. Okay, the article 31 right to private ownership has been removed, and it has been removed, and it has made just a legal rights. Okay, it is not a fundamental rights anymore. So after that, means if the railway track wants to make railway department, if they wants to make any kind of it's like uh, while making their project, they can acquire this land with the permission of the court, and they can continue with their project. Okay, so this is all about the fundamental rights. This is like I have explained you only the article 19. Okay, only the article 19. There are lots of articles. The for fundamental rights, it starts from article 14 and it ends in article 35. Oh sorry, it starts in article 12 and it ends in 35. So I have explained only this article 19. Okay, so all this has been explained. And if you have got any kind of doubt or any kind of confusion, you can post me in the comment sections. Okay, thank you.